If you're a student right now, you're probably juggling assignments, deadlines, expectations, pressure, and the big question: how do I actually prepare myself for real life? The truth is, school teaches you many things, but some of the most important lessons about success, money, discipline, strategy, and identity don't come from the classroom. They come from books, and I mean the right books. That is why today I want to share 5 powerful books that actually shaped my mindset, my understanding of success, and even my view on life itself. These books will prepare you mentally, financially, emotionally, and spiritually for the real world. So, stay with me until the end. The first book is Why A Students Work for C Students and B Students Work for the Government.
This is actually one of my favorite books of all time.
It's technically written as a guide for parents by Robert Kiyosaki, that is the author, but the truth inside it will wake you up as a student. This book exposes a hard truth, which is the school system is designed to train A students to be employees, while the C students who often don't fit in the academic mold become the capitalists and entrepreneurs who hire the A students to work for them. Meanwhile, the B students often end up in government. You see, growing up as a child, I always believed government employees should be the richest people in the country. If you asked me why, my simple answer was because they worked for the government, had fixed salaries, and most importantly, I grew up seeing them drive cars, which was a luxury, and some of them even had bodyguards. Meanwhile, I don't remember seeing business owners with bodyguards, so my brain naturally assumed government workers must be richer than business people. But then one sentence in this book completely shifted my perspectives. It said something like, in the United States, many bureaucrats are becoming rich. This is not a good sign. It's a sign of growing corruption. That hit me hard, and it made sense to me. This simple line changed my perspective on who can and could be rich. Besides that, it also goes deeper to break down why financial literacy is the key to financial independence, something it says our standard education ignores. It also introduces the intriguing concept that every coin has 3 sides, not two. Now, if you want to know what that means, you have to read the book. Next, we have The Atomic Habits. This book teaches one of the most important lessons you will ever learn. That is, small habits compounded over time create massive results. As students, we are often obsessed with the big result, the degree, the job, the $1 million. But this book teaches that success doesn't come from a massive overnight change. It comes from small, consistent improvements. Think about it this way: your graduation day, you walk across the stage to grab your scroll, takes you only a few seconds, but that moment is the result of perhaps 3 to 4 years of tiny and small actions, such as attending lectures, submitting assignments, studying, taking tests, and preparing for the exams. That is actually compounding in action, and it is the atomic concept that is covered in the Atomic Habits. Once you understand this concept, you stop rushing in life, you stop looking for shortcuts, and you start appreciating the small efforts that eventually turn into big wins. The third book is The Art of War. Now let me take you back with me to ancient China, to a book written or that was written by the strategist Sun Tzu in around 5th century BC. You know, they say all is gold, and this book just proves it right. While its main focus is on military conflict, the wisdom in this book applies directly to your life and career. Because let's be honest, we all hope to do business one day, and business itself is a battle. Just that this time in business, you aren't using guns as like in the conventional wars that we hear of, but you're competing for customers, market share, and talent with your competitors. This book teaches you powerful ideas such as positioning and maneuverability. That is how to survive no matter what life throws at you. And these ideas are necessary to run a successful business. One of my favorite quotes from this book is, "The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting." We see this in business almost every day. A great modern example is Mark Zuckerberg. When he realized Instagram was becoming a threat to Facebook, which he created, he didn't try to destroy them in a war of futures or developing a competing app that could actually cost him millions or billions. Instead, he did something clever. He bought the company. He captured the army intact and added their strength to his own. Now, whether you're doing market research, which the wisdom can be traced from knowing the trend or handling competition, this book will change the way you approach challenges, be it academically, personally, or professionally. The next book is Rich Dad Poor Dad. Now, if you haven't read this yet, it is high time you do, because Rich Dad Poor Dad is the foundation of all financial literacy. It completely shatters misconceptions about assets and liabilities. Most people think buying a nice expensive house is acquiring an asset, but Robert Kiyosaki argues that your house is a liability because it takes money out of your pocket. But if you use that same money to buy a rental property which puts money into your pocket, that now becomes an asset. Even your personal car is a liability because of fuel and maintenance. But if you use that car to do Uber or for rentals, suddenly it becomes an asset. So I'm thinking that maybe we should all start driving Uber. This book also teaches you how to control cash flow. So instead of just saving your money, which actually loses value due to inflation because the government will print more money regardless, you should put your money into situation where it works for you. So the main lesson is don't be a saver, be an investor. As a student, if you want financial freedom, this book is non-negotiable. And finally, we have the greatest book that is known to mankind, the Holy Bible. While the other books teach you how to make money or strategy, this book answers the most important questions, such as why are we here and what is our purpose. Regardless if you read it for faith, wisdom, comfort, discipline, or understanding, it provides clarity on a lot of things. It also provides courage whenever you're in fear, and as students, it helps to build your character, integrity, and morals. This is important because you can have all the money in the world, but without character, you have nothing. It also teaches us how to look at people with compassion and the love of God. Simply put, it's a spiritual foundation that holds everything else together. As a student, you shouldn't let this wisdom slip away from you. These are the 5 books that I believe every student must read to go beyond the classroom. Not because they will help you to pass your exams, but because they will help you understand life, money, discipline, strategy, and purpose. The truth is, education doesn't just stop in your classroom. Schools train your mind, but books like this shape your future. Now, if you want more book recommendations, breakdown, or summaries like this, let me know in the comment section down below, and I will make a part 2 of this video, because there are just like too many books that I have read and just couldn't talk about all of them in one single video. But until then, keep learning, keep growing, and keep feeding your mind, because the mind you build today will determine the life you live tomorrow. Just before I end, there is one book that I want to read before this year ends, that is The Prince, and once I read it, I will be able to make a breakdown and summaries of the book as well. So all these 5 books that I've talked about, the information that I've given is only like the tip of the iceberg, and actually I have a lot of information on each of those books that I would love to share with all of you. If time allows, I may make like separate videos about a specific book, then I dive into details so that I can actually talk about a lot of things that I learned from reading that book.